Okay. Why don't you take another 2 minutes, finish it up. Make sure you have at least all the problems written down. Make sure you at least have all the problems written down.
Oh. Okay.
So yeah, you do not have any information about it. Because we don't have any information about this one. So therefore we don't have any information about this one. So these two we don't have any information about. The only thing we do
What's
have
happening with this one?
this one and this one.
Kiera, what's the first one?
We'll go through it.
I just thought you would know.
I don't know why you I do not know at all.
Okay, so I saw some people getting number 1, but I think you were having trouble with the proving part.
Yeah, I'm having a little trouble.
That happens. Now I want to recall your attention to this. If you have 2 lines that are parallel, so if you look right here, this one is parallel to this one. Where's the transversal? Name for me the transversal. Where's the line that cuts through both of those? EF, right? So what kind of angles are these ones? I heard it. Corresponding. Corresponding. Corresponding, right? These two are corresponding, so therefore they're congruent.
Yep.
Can you see any other pair of angles we might be able to talk about?
Yeah.
Which one?
DF and CB.
Okay, so DF and CB. We have those lines. Transversal again is this one, right? Transversal again is this one. So that means this angle and this one are what kind of angles?
Corresponding.
They're corresponding too. They're in the same place, or they're the same, but just in different locations. So this one is congruent to this one. So that means, well, you have angle. Let's see, this one's DEA. DEA is congruent to angle CAB. Oops, already wrote angle. CAB. And you also have CBA, angle CBA, congruent to DFB, angle DFB. So why can I state that the triangles are similar? What postulate or what theorem tells me they're similar? There's only 2 things. There were 3 postulates. There was side, 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 angle, side, and there was something else. It was the easiest one. Angle, angle. By angle, angle postulate. By angle, angle similarity postulate. We have this. That those triangles are similar. So Sebastian then was able to figure out what x is. Sebastian, walk me through how to figure out what x is.
Okay, so the bottom of the small triangle is 10, the bottom of the big triangle is 20.
Alright, so let me mark that real quick. This one's small, and it's 10. So you said small is 10, and then you said where's the big one?
That's the bottom. It's just one.
Just adding on these pieces, right?
Yes.
So the big one's 10 too, right?
It's just 20 altogether.
Right, because people are going to forget. What people are going to forget, Vana, put it away, or you're going down, okay? Put it in your backpack right now. What people are going to forget, Vana, is what Sebastian just told us, that you have to add these together to get 20. All right, so walk me through some more.
And then it's just pretty much the same for 16 times.
Same thing, right? So this similarity ratio is 1/2. So 16 is big, and so you said x must be 8. 1/2 of that gives you 8. Does that make sense how you got 8? Yeah? Do you have questions about that one? Okay, so nice. Nice job there, Sebastian. Let's see. Are these two similar? These triangles? Are those two triangles similar? And how do you show it? Are they similar? How do you show it? Remember, what are the 3 things that we have to prove triangles are similar? We just went over them. Side angle side is one of them. Another one. Angle angle is another one. There was one more. It matches up with this picture. Side, 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 right? Side, side, side. What do I need to show? I need to show that they're similar. So I need to look at the ratios. Alright, so big to small. So let's look at big to small. 40 matches up with
Stop.
40 matches up with. Are you sure? Yep, I wasn't sure. 40 matches up with 24 because that's the middle, right? Somebody's anxious today.
Looks like it.
40 over 24. Let's see, 60 matches up with 36. And let's see, 30 matches up with 18. You want to show that all these are equal. So let's reduce these, because that's what we need to work on in this class. You guys did good on Thursday, first off. I didn't tell you, but you did good on Thursday. But we need to work on reducing. Actually, most of us did good on Thursday. Let's see. Simplify this one. What's the biggest number that goes into 40 and 24? There's something bigger.
6.
That's bigger, but 8. And 6 didn't, but 8 does. 8 goes into that. 8 goes into that. So let's see, this is 5 over 3. Now let's check if this one's equal to 5 over 3. What's the biggest one that goes into 60? Biggest number that goes into 60. I heard it? 12, right?
Wait, is that 5?
Yeah, 5 over 3.
Oh.
Divide this by 12, because that's the biggest number. 60 divided by 12. 5. 36 divided by 12.
Ouch. 3.
3. So that one works, but we still have to check the third one. Biggest number that goes into both of those? 6. 6 goes into 30.
5.
5 times. 6 goes into 18.
3.
You got it. Are they similar?
Yes.
The similarity ratio is?
5 over
5 over
3.
3.
There you go. You guys got this.
Yes.
Look at that. Similarity ratio. All right. They asked us for the similarity correspondence. So when they ask for that, this is what you want to write down. Triangle blank is similar to triangle blank. So somebody give me the triangle that matches.
Triangle. Wow.
Give me the names.
FGH.
FGH, let me check. FGH, so you're writing FGH. Let me just see how you did this here. You went from big across medium to small. Okay.
To J. You said big to medium to small. FKL.
So you're saying
Nope, never mind.
F-
Hold on a second.
KL.
What the?
That would, keep going. You got it.
You're blowing me, KJ.
K, oh,
He said big to medium to small.
and take a look, right? Look. Big to medium to small. So you guys got it? KJL. You got it. KJL. There you go. So if you're not sleeping, that should make sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, then we got a couple easy skills to learn today. They shouldn't be very difficult. Yep. Do you want to go right now before we start the notes, or do you want to wait?
Wait until
Like 15 minutes? No, I'm serious.
a little bit.
Here's what we're doing.
I know.
We're doing 5.8. 5.8. And the homework is going to be in the book. 5.8. I didn't put them in school yet, I don't think.
Oh,
But I want you to
Yeah.
write
right.
So we're right.
beautiful notes.
Just blue. The day I chose my iPad, he wanted to like when I used your iPad.
Literally the day I brought my iPad.
Oh, Anthony.
This class
Chloe?
blows me every single day. I don't have notebook. No.
So let's make sure we have something to take notes on.
Who
Paper,
has a blue pen?
iPad.
A blue pen. A blue pen. The color blue.
Yes.
Somebody has a blue pen.
Nobody has
DJ, you got a blue pen?
She actually has one. Okay. It's kind of
Don't throw it. This is a highlighter.
She has blue with a marker.
Thank you.
That's a blue.
Yeah, don't throw it. Pass the well.
Okay, so here's what we're doing. What are patterns with sides of right triangles? So what we're learning about today is really important because we're going to need it for the rest of this unit. It's called special. Just how it works. It kind of flows better to jump around. Special right triangles. So you're going to use this in Algebra 2. You're going to use this on ACT. You're going to need to take notes. Yeah, special right triangles. All right. So that's what we're doing. There's certain patterns that allow us to come up with general rules, Milo, if we're not watching YouTube or something. Okay? And that's what we're going to develop today. Most important thing before we start today, if you have a right triangle, what's the most important rule that we know?
It's 90 degrees.
It's 90 degrees, that's true. But what's the most important rule that we know for right triangles?
What?
What's the most important rule that we've used so many times this year for right triangles?
So let's put Pythagorean theorem.
What is the Pythagorean theorem? You got it.
Plus b squared equals c squared.
Okay, that's what we're going to use
It's
today.
a Pythagorean theorem, what you said.
Sorry.
All right, so let's take a look at these. So refresh yourself how to find out what this side is, how to find out what this side is, and then be brave and try this one. It has no numbers, right? But find out what C is. So find out what this is, find out what this is, and then find out what C is. Even though there are
Not a
no,
decimal.
no decimals.
Oh.
So you're going to enter your answer as a radical. That's what your last answer is going to be.
Thank you.
No.
Are you gonna go over them?
Find the missing sign.
Yes, and I'll go over them.
So I'm taking notes. We're just looking problems.
Just a little bit of notes.
Just go writing.
So you want to get these examples down and solve them? The better your notes are, the easier Friday is. So remember, this is a radical, so your answer at the end should look something like that.
Isn't B squared always the biggest number?
Not B,
C.
C.
The other was telling me 8 different letters, so I don't know.
And the right angle always points at it. Question mark? Give it a name, right? What do you want to call it?
Oh. R.
R? Okay. So let's see. R squared plus 3 squared equals x squared. Well, so if I want to solve for x, or if I want to solve for the missing side, let's see. I would pull, if I wanted to solve for r, I should pull 3 squared over, right? So r squared equals x squared minus, well, 3 squared is 9, right? Well, solve. What do you have to do to both sides? Take the square root. It's important. I want you to focus on this. You guys do not, I don't want to see this. You cannot separate these and say it's square root of x and square root of 9, right? So you can't separate them. They're stuck together. So r is equal to square root of x squared minus 9. So that's your final answer. Now we're doing some more stuff that you're going to see in Algebra 2. Alright? So you need to pay attention if you're going to go forward, which you have to. So then, what's the pattern here? What should this one be? What should question mark be if I don't even have to do any math? What should the end result, what should the end answer be for question mark for number 2? It looks the same, right? So shouldn't that end result look the same? Somebody tell me what it should be. If I'm going to call this one R, what should R be? What's the pattern? Not quite. We set it up first, r squared plus 3 squared. So for this one, r squared plus 10 squared. Then what do we have to do? Subtract it over, right? And then you have to take square root. So what should it be? X squared minus x squared minus? Nope. What is the number? 10 squared. So that is 100. Do you see how they match up? We are trying to find this side. We were given this side. Well, so x, it should be in the same place. And guess what? So should the other number, right? That makes sense. All right. Well, let's try this one. And this one's going to be one of the most important ones that we learned today. This one is a special right triangle. This one is special because if these have the same sides, what do you know about these angles? If these sides are the same, what do you know about these angles? They are what? Congruent? Because what kind of triangle is this if you have two equal sides? Not equilateral, you're almost there. Isosceles. So let's solve and find out what C would be. And this will always be true. What are these, some of you who are good calculators, what do these angles have to be?
45.
You got, how come you got 45?
45 plus 45 is 90.
These have to be 90, right? Add to 90, so this has to be 45 and 45. So this is called a 45, 45, 90 triangle. And so let's find out how the sides
That's
are
a
related
long
to each other. I know, but it just makes sense. 45, 45, 90. Those are all the angles. Well, let's solve it just like we did for the other ones. X squared plus x squared equals c squared. X squared plus x squared equals c squared. I have how many x squareds?
2.
2x squared equals c squared. What do I do first? Do I take the square root or should I divide by the 2? Divide
Take
by,
the square of the root.
nope, we're going to divide by, you could, but let's
Okay.
divide by 2 first.
I thought this was wrong, so I just gotta take that moment to be right.
Divide by 2. Divide by 2. Avi, you follow along? These are important algebra skills. Everybody in here is going to algebra 2. And you need to learn. X squared equals c squared divided by 2. Now what do I do? Square root both sides. Square root both sides. So x equals square root of c squared over square root of 2. All right. Well, what's square root of c squared? What is the square root of c squared? If you take the square root of 10 squared, what do you get? What do square roots and squares do to each other?
Cancel.
They cancel, right? So what's this? Square root of c squared is what?
Six.
C over square root of 2. Those. So always, when you have this situation, important, always, when you have 45, 45, 90, the middle one, the biggest side is going to be c divided by square root of 2. Or, since I don't know what c is, what's another way to write this? How can I solve for c? Because I don't know what c is.
Wait, no.
Not substitute, but look what you have. Let's write down what we have. And again, this is the important mathematical thinking. This is equal to this is equal to this. So x is equal to c divided by square root of 2. So how do you find out what c is? If this was a 2, how would you get rid of it? Multiply both sides by the bottom, right? So multiply both sides by square root of 2. Times square root of 2 times square root of 2. That's okay, we're just working through the algebra right now. So what is the largest side always going to be? If you have a 45, 45, 90, what's the largest side going to be? Square root of 2 times whatever the other side is, right? This is important. This is always true. Okay, always true. Think about how important that is. It's always true. If you have a situation in real life where it's 45, 45, 90, right? You don't even need to measure it. You already know what the longest side is going to be. That's why it's important. That's okay.
No, wait! Oh my gosh.
That's okay. It's right here for you again. So I would have this in my notes. I would have it in my notes and star it. Because we're going to use this again and again and again.
I'm doing just fine, sweetie. What about you? Are you okay?
Can I go to the bathroom now? I really got to go.
Yes. If you really need to go, you can. Okay. So, if I give you a triangle, for example, on Friday, and they have those congruent angles, right? Well, then you're going to know something about all the sides. That's important. If I give you something about angles, you could tell me about the sides. And that's going to be important because you have to be able to think about it. You have to be able to know this. Right? So let's practice it a couple times and then you'll get the idea. We're not using any calculators. So find the missing side lengths. What are those dots telling you again?
Wait, were we supposed to solve that one?
Just get this one down.
Which one?
This two. Find the missing side lengths. What are those dots telling you again? The angles are congruent. So, if these angles are congruent, 45, 45, 90, right? So I'm thinking 45, 45, 90. So you can tell me something. What's the length of this side? You got it? John, what's the length of this side? It's in your notes. You gotta take it down, right? What's the length of this side? How much bigger is this side compared to these two? Not 14, it's 7 times. It wasn't 2.
You're just saying words now.
It was a square root of 2. 7 times square root of 2. Right?
Yes.
How about this one? I only have this biggest side, but I have that the angles are the same. So what do I know about the two other sides? They're 5. Look at how easy those points are going to be, right, on Friday. If you're not sleeping, right? If you're not sleeping, if you're taking notes, if you're not on your phone, right, it should be pretty straightforward. You think you got this skill down for Friday?
Well, I guess we're done today. Let's do the
No?
homework.
We got one more special triangle. Everybody good to move forward?
I didn't get the last line because it had like a definition.
That's okay. This one's a little bit different. This one is a little bit different. Which one's the biggest side? Which one? The bottom one. So do you think this one's 8 and this one's 8?
No.
No, right? So this one is, well, let's see. I don't know this one. Do I know this one? What is this one?
8. 9.
No, this one is not 8.
It's exact same as on
Exact same as the other side, so it's 8 times square root of 2.
Oh my god.
Well, so let's set it up. This bigger side, what do you want to call it? Maybe call it
Q.
Q, sure. Q. Let's start with what we know. Q is equal to square root of 2 times what? How much bigger is this side compared to these ones? It's square root of 2 times
What?
whatever the side is, right? So what's the length of this side?
8
8
times
times.
square root of 2.
Right, so square root of 2 times 8. This side is square root of 2 times bigger than this side, right? Now, here's an important algebra skill. If you have square root of 2 times square root of 2, what does that equal to? Square root of 2. If you have square root of 2 times square root of 2, maybe type it into your calculator. This is something important to know. Maybe type it into your calculator. What's square root of 2 times square root of 2? We haven't worked with these that much, so everybody should be typing it in.
It's 2.
I got one person.
2 people. You got 4.
Somebody else?
You didn't type that in correctly.
2, right? What happens then when you have 2 of these? They cancel out, right? So this is 2 times 8, so that is equal to 16. So side Q is 16.
That's it?
That's it. Last one. Bana, I think you're going to have trouble with this one on Friday if you're sleeping. This one is 12.
That scared me.
All right. This one is 12. Now let's see. How are we going to write this? 12. It's not 6. That's a good guess, but it's not. Let's see how to write this. This setup is really important. Well, there's something weird going on here. Is this side the biggest, the smallest, or what?
It's the biggest.
Biggest. So biggest equals square root of 2 times what? Smallest, right? But you don't know what small is, right?
No.
So what should you call small? Okay, so call it M. This one's M, this one's M. Do you know what biggest is? So biggest is 12, and it's equal to square root of 2 times M. So how do you solve for M? Divide by,
Oh.
not the 2, but the square root of 2. Divide both sides by square root of 2. Divide both sides by square root of 2. Say it again.
What does that say?
Yeah, it's small. Yeah, it's small. Small. Important thing to note, I don't want a decimal. This number is a number. You don't have to, this is an exact number. You don't have to give me a decimal approximation. You would leave your answer just like this. This is fine. Is everybody comfortable leaving a number like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you get that picture there, Kian. Okay, then we've got one more special triangle to look at.
You said that one.
You just
You
said
said
that
that
last time.
We didn't do the second one yet. This is still the first one. 45, 45, 90. There's another one. Okay?
LOL.
Can you go back? Nobody got it.
Oh, we're missing that one. We're doing this one.
No.
We're not going to do that exploration because we're running out of time.
Should we write this down?
You need this one down.
Okay, so the right isosceles triangle, I need to nothing down for that one.
Huh?
The right isosceles triangle.
You already had that one down.
Yeah, but there's the definition.
Oh, this one is just an example. We're not doing that. This is like an exploration.
No, girl.
I'm just saying, write this down. Write this one down. This one is going to be called a 30, 60, 90 triangle. 30, 60, 90. 30, 60, 90. You guys, think for a second. Which one's going to be 30? Which one's going to be 60? Which one's going to be 90?
The shortest one's gonna be 30.
Which one's the shortest one?
A.
You got it. Very good.
Yeah.
That one's 30. So this one is 60. That one's obviously 90. This setup is important. You need to have this down. If you do not have this down, you're not going to be able to set this up. So A is always pointing at 30, or vice versa. A times square root of 3 is always pointing at 60. 2A is always pointing at 90. This is always true.
A lot of stuff.
30 points at A. Let's all say it together, okay? 30
30
points
points
at
at A.
60 points at?
A.
How do you say this?
Square root of 3.
Okay, so 60 always points at A,
Square
root of 3.
root 3.
90 always points at?
2A.
I heard about 3 people. 90 always points at?
2A.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can do mental math then. If I tell you the shortest side, let's do some mental math. If I tell you shortest side is 5, you tell me all the other sides. Shortest side is 5. What's the medium side?
2A.
10.
Medium size? Well, medium side is going to be what? Not 10.
I saw you just said that became you.
Yes, medium size, it's not 10. That's going to be the largest side. Medium size is going to be 5 times
2.
To the square root of 3.
square root of 3.
At least
So you got the 5, all right? Why is the largest side 10? Well, it's 2 times the shortest.
But what? What do you
Good?
Hold on, don't change it yet. I already
Now let's do one more.
how I
Let's do one more. How about if, Victor, you help us out with this one. How about if the shortest side is square root of 3? Shortest side is square root of 3. What's the medium size?
I can't even read it on my phone.
What's the medium size? Jeanette, what's the medium side? There's no square root of 2 anyway. A is square root of 3, so medium side is square root of 3 times square root of 3 times square root of 3. Well, what's that equal to? What happens to the square roots?
Then I equal to 18.
No,
No,
No, they cancel out.
I'm telling y'all, Kia.
Because I thought it was. I don't know.
What's the largest side? What's the largest side? Nope.
That's not mine.
Largest side is always going to be 2 times, what's A?
3.
It's not 3.
Square root of 3.
Okay, so the largest side is 2 times square root of 3.
So if we just put 3, it would be wrong.
It would be wrong.
Okay.
Totally different number. Is 2 the same thing as square root of 2?
Sounds like
No.
it.
No. Now let's do some math.
Wait, what?
That was just practice. Now you're going to have those ones in your notebook.
Well, I see y'all tomorrow.
Wait.
I'm saying.
What?
Which one's the shortest side? Which one's the
3.
shortest side?
3.
How do you know it's the shortest?
Because it looks the shortest.
Not it looks. Hey, you guys. Need your focus if you're not taking this down. All right. What's the shortest side? You're right. It's 3. How come?
Because 30.
Angle is
30.
30.
okay. What's the medium size?
60.
60.
60. So how big is the medium side?
We don't know.
You do know.
Oh.
You just said 60.
What should it be?
A to the square root of
times
3.
A times square root of 3. So it's 3 times
Square root of 3.
square root of 3. What's the longest side?
2, 3. 2 times 3.
2 times 3. So it's 6.
Go off.
Wait, what?
Because I want to explain it. So
Okay.
in the last
No, you're
one,
doing too much.
because the example was A, and you take what the shortest side is, and then you put it what the thing is.
What the thing is?
You know what I mean?
That's why I don't want. That's why I don't want him to explain. He just makes me more confused.
Okay. We had a good question. How do I set this up each time? Smallest side. You should maybe write this down. Smallest side is always from 30 degrees, right? I know it's just going to be equal to A. So smallest side is A, and it's always across from 30 degrees. Medium size is always A root 3, and it's always across from Johan? Johan? It's always across from, you need to listen, not talk. Alright? It's always across from 60. Largest side, 90. Maybe that would help you if you have it in your notes.
Maybe it would.
Let's try one more.
You're going too fast.
I feel pretty solid
I know.
with this.
I hear a lot of side conversations. Guys, especially over here, okay? Let's copy it down.
That's not true.
No, I don't think so.
Not
Let's
true.
copy it down. I don't see any writing going
I go, you better get no notes out.
Oh.
Across
Oh,
from 30.
be confident.
on. Across from 30.
You don't need to.
Across from 30 is going to be. Ooh, how'd you get 5? You're right. What told you it's going to be 5?
It was a guess.
What side did they give you?
She don't know.
They gave you medium.
Oh, yeah.
medium, you said, is a times square root of 3. So that means a must be 5. So that told her that smallest side, which is just a.
A.
So that means a must be 5. And I think that's how Bella got a is equal to 5, right? Well, then what's the longest side? So you guys got it. All right.
Okay, well, I'll see y'all tomorrow then.
Almost done.
What?
We have a minute.
We literally have 2 minutes left.
In your homework for tonight.
Oh, we have homework?
Yes.
Um,
Please write this down, okay?
Oh.
5,
Is it due tomorrow?
8. I think you should start. It's due Wednesday, but you should start tonight.
Why?
This is in your workbook. 5, 8, practice B.
Let's see if I remember that.
5, 8, practice B.
Gonna be exactly like this.
It's very similar. Very similar. So give it a try.
Are we gonna do something like this tomorrow?
We're going to do more.
Are you serious?
Either that or he got fired. It's one of the two.
I thought somebody did that.
That's what really was thought. But then they said the cow wasn't here when it happened.
You ready for the year, Dan?
So no one knows the fucking truth. Yeah, Jennifer told me that Mario was the cow. Which I kind of
Here.
exactly. So people can't get that, right? But then he wasn't there for the time being. See if I can have it today.
Oh God. I love you. Hey,
The video's over. It's over. You have to keep going after all that. No.
Her last name is
No.
please.
always one, like,
We smell ass. We smell ass. You know how much you know about this?
We look cute. Sure.
To be honest, remember I had to tie my hair up.
Yeah, how's it going, Sam? Not bad. Oh, nice. Nice, wonderful. Where? In Indiana. Egan. Okay, so that's pretty close by. Very good. That's exciting. Yeah, is she excited? Oh, good. So that maybe makes things a little bit nicer and less stressful, right? Well, anything else new? Yeah, I see you. You should talk to me because you're still on my attendance. Yeah, so that means you're probably not in Mr. O'Connell's attendance. So maybe ask Mr. Who's your counselor? Yeah, maybe ask her if she switched you yet because you're still in there. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm also
Oh, so you have his. Yeah, I just don't know why you're still in there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad to hear about your sister and you have a nice place to live. Yeah. Very good to hear. See you soon. You're on.